Guys, it's Friday. It's the takeaway. We got Stoney, obviously the Liverpool supporter. Look, take time with him, his family. Obviously, Yabba, as usual. He hasn't been on a takeaway for a little while. And Matt, another one who hasn't been on a takeaway for a little while. Guys, obviously we are going to talk about Liverpool, the Liverpool Man United game. We are going to talk about Villa being maybe more than dark horses. And we are going to discuss the fact that we're out of Europe now. I was one who was more than happy not being in Europe. Do you think it's going to benefit Man United not being in Europe? Guys, look, let's get the show on the road. Well, what I can say is a Monday. Long time no see.
Yeah, 10 o'clock. I'm usually in bed by this time, wondering what's going on in a takeaway. But now I'm here. It's holiday season. I decided to join in. And what really turned my head was I heard Matty was on. I haven't seen Matty for a long, long time. And he's one of my brethren. And we went on a road trip once upon a time to Old Trafford when we were all on a high. We jumped in the car. We drove all the way up to Old Trafford for a game against Liverpool. And from skinning teeth, stopping off, smiling, taking cameras, pictures, and all this kind of thing. Yeah. After the game, we were somber. Matt left. He didn't want to come home with us. He stayed up there, and we had to take a long 5-hour journey home in misery. That's what Liverpool did to us. And also, I came on because you're. I was gonna say your younger brother, but you're lit. I'm gonna call it guy who frustrates me so much. Now, the reason I come on because Stoney's here. Now, Stoney is a guy I love and respect. Obviously, the Blake family I respected. I love all them guys. But I had to be here to defend the case because I know Stoney is like a dangerous dude. You look at him, he's unassuming and all that kind of thing. But once he starts opening his mouth and starts talking, he will tear this show down, tear us apart. So I'm here as backup. And he said, yeah, easy work. If he called us a back three backstage, I don't wonder if he's going to talk like that now. And me, Matty, and Mr. B as like a defense. And he said he's going to eat us up. So let's see what happens. Big up Stoney, big up Matty, and obviously big up Mr. B. And big up everyone in the comments. Make sure you press the like button. This is going to be good.
So there's 12 of you watching, and only Matt and Jarl have said howdy. If you walk into somebody's house, isn't it good just to say hi? So guys, look, if you are there, look, say hi. Just say hi. We always say hi back. And one day you want to say howdy to a couple.
Yeah, big up to Jaylee. I'm always worried I'm not getting your name right. Jaylee, he's saying here, Villa have been impressive for sure. They've got good structure behind everything they do. They've got a good rich dude pulling the strings at the clubs, and I can see them fighting for top four for a long time to come. Interesting that. We're going to get onto that, I'm sure. Big up to Matthew Bassett. I don't know, Matthew, what are you eating for takeaway tonight? He's saying big up everyone and show it on the chat. Big up to the brother of Annie, that's Richard Herbert, who is the coolest brother because he's a Man United fan. He says, hello, lads, how are you all?
I could actually ask Richard. A certain family member stood me up tonight. I would like to think he's working, and that should be the only excuse that he's not here. But then we'll leave it. A Monday. Carry on, please.
Yeah, Richard, what's going on, man? Big up to Bart, serious fan, Liverpool fan. Obviously, he's come here to support Stoney. He said, what happened when United played Liverpool at Anfield? And we all know that what happened there.
We'll
Big up Harry David.
That.
Harry David, good evening. How are you, man? Welcome to the Man United agenda. Make sure everyone press the like button. It's going to be good and settle down. Blackmore 79 saying, bless up, guys. Yes, big up to Blackmore. Obviously, a historic thing there with the name like that. I love history. I love talking about issues like that. What happened? Who are the Blackmores? We're going to find out today who he supports and what he really backs. So, Blackmore, I hope to hear more from you in the comments. Matthew Bassett, again, no takeaway tonight. He's probably on a diet or something. Eddie, Football Waffle, go subscribe to his channel. Fantastic guy. He said good evening to everyone on the panel, and he's hitting the like button for us. Thank you. He knows the drill. And obviously, good evening to Eddie from Matthew Bassett.
Well, look, before we get the juiciest part of the show, it's like the last part of the chicken dinner that you save. I always save my chicken till last. I'm not gonna lie, I saved that. So we're gonna save the Liverpool part of it until towards the end of the show. So I think we're gonna start. Mike J, welcome. Never. Oops, sorry. Let me take my hand off. Don't be rude. Yeah, welcome, man. Welcome. See, that's what I'm saying, guys. Don't sit in silence. That's the whole point of it being a takeaway. Whether it's drunk talk, high talk, positive talk, negative talk, talk in the chat. That's what we're here for.
Exactly.
Right,
you never go in a takeaway, Mr. B, do you? And you hear quiet, silent, like it's in a church, do you? Everybody shouting, "Where's my order? What's going on? How are you cooking that?" Carry on, people in the comments, please. Keep it coming.
Right. Villa, obviously, the start of the season, we spoke about Villa being dark horses. Obviously, the last two games they've done Arsenal and Man City's dance, and United have got them in a couple of weeks. I mean, look, I'm going to get my other brother on for that one. That should be interesting viewing. Can we really look at Villa being title contenders? I mean, their owners are rich. They've got no issues with FFP. He's playing United a very good record when it comes to winning things. The one thing is a winner. Talk to me, guys. Guys in the chat, talk to us. Let me know.
Before we do go in, I just want to say, like, I remember the first thing I sort of knew about Villa in 1982. They won the European Cup. It was fantastic, but the biggest thing I love is Lenny Henry. Around that same time, he done a spoof of Thriller, and I don't know if you remember this, guys, but it was like Thriller spoof with Lenny Henry, and it's really funny. And then he got to a part where he started saying, with the chorus, "This is Thriller, and said Aston Villa, because he's from Birmingham as well. Aston Villa, brilliant. But Aston Villa, great club, got a lot of history, and it's great to see them back. When the Premiership first started in 92, 93, they were title contenders. They had Paul McGrath, Steve Staunton, and they were really pushing it for the title. But since then, they haven't really done much. They won a couple of League Cups, but now they've got a good manager, they've got a bit of investment, and they deserve everything they're getting with being the size of the club they are. Birmingham is the second biggest city in England. They've got the biggest club in Birmingham, so all the best to them. And they've got good manager, good foundation, as the comment said there earlier. So I'm really pleased to see them fighting up for some honours this year. And honours can include coming in the top four as well. That's something I don't think they've done for a long, long time. So fair dues to Villa. I give them big respect. You talk about a good squad. You look at Tottenham. Tottenham been doing really well. Good manager, good foundation, good stadium, that kind of thing. Villa have come along now. Where they're going a bit further is because they've got a bit of a stronger squad. They've made some really good additions this year. Tyrone Mings. Look what happened with Virgil van Dijk when he got injured for Liverpool, for example. They went downhill. Tyrone Mings is a big player for them in the back. He's been injured. They got Konsa from Brentford. Unknown, he doesn't get Jews. And they brought in Pau Torres as well.
Yeah,
so the defense is kind of shored up. They've also brought in another left back to give back up to the French guy. And at right back, they've got Matty Cash, who's Polish, apparently. I don't know how, but he plays for Poland. But ahead of that, they brought well. We looked at Kamara, their midfield. They've got the lovely Scott, who I think is a fantastic player. We were looking at Man United for a number of years, who's got so much character. The Scottish player they got in midfield. Someone's going to tell me his name now. McGinn, what a player he is. I mean, for character, he's not Thiago or anything, but for character and drive.
He's an upgrade on Scott McTominay, Mr.
You might think so. Well, don't see him, Mr. B. But the most important thing for them, I think they've got some punch. And I have to give, that's what I'm saying, they took a risk a couple of years ago. They bought Ollie Watkins when he was in the Championship, and they spent big money on him. That's a big risk to take, And they backed Gerrard and bought a lot of players under Gerrard as well. So I think this is a accumulation of good business, good foundation, good management with the manager they got in now, who hasn't really got his dues, even though he won so many numerous Europa Leagues with Seville and ended up at Paris and Arsenal based on his ability. And now he's showing everybody that it's a good evening and it's a good season as well for Villa. So far, so good. The only issue I would have, if Ollie Watkins got injured, I can't imagine who they got in to come in to fill his boots, because they're big boots. He runs the channel so well as a proper forward. athletic, and real good work rate as well. So fair play to Aston Villa. I respect them, and we will be playing them soon.
Stoney, sit there in silence.
No,
just to cuss us about Liverpool.
No, far from it. I think just to extend on what OMONDI was really speaking about, the acquisition of Aston Villa's players. I think there's been a few games where Ollie Watkins has been rested, and when Villa have gone to 2 up front, then they've played Diaby and Bailey up front. Bearing in mind as well, I know this is probably a younger player that they bought from Chicago. Is his name? I think his name's Duran, the young striker. He's not going to have the output that Ollie Watkins, Diaby, or Bailey's going to have, but he's actually featured in quite a lot of games as well, and I think he's probably part of their development team. So in terms of acquisitions, I think they've really done good. They've got was it Lelang, the Clement Lelang? He was from Barcelona, isn't he? He's currently on loan there from Barcelona, isn't he? Didn't he used to play for Tottenham, or did I get that wrong?
Yeah, I think he did. He was at loan at Tottenham, I think.
Yeah. So they've got him on loan there. Obviously, they've made, as you mentioned about Diaby, Pau Torres, I think is really good. They brought in Tillemans on the free as well, and Alex Moreno. I think even when you look at the amount of players that Emery's actually brought in, it's not that much. But I think the way that he's actually got them structurally playing, I think that's actually more impressive. They are very well organized. I think their home record speaks for itself. I think, 14 or 15 games at home?
15
games. Listen, that record within itself is actually quite frightening. So the fact that they've put together a really impressive home form at Villa Park and is currently sitting in third. Villa are a team that I believe that anybody that goes up against them, home or away, your team has to be fully focused, because they're capable of coming away with all 3 points. And as OMONDI said as well, McGinn with the captain's armband, he surprised me as well. I think he's a really, really, really good midfielder as well. But also the variation in play where they're actually playing Tillemans. They've actually played Tillemans a little bit more offensively sometimes at Villa as well. They played him behind Ollie Watkins, and they didn't actually play Tillemans that high up for Belgium, or when he was at Leicester as well. So yeah, I just think they've been very, very, very impressive. Kwanzaa there, you've got a solid goalkeeper in a World Cup winner there as well. So I think from the goalkeeper up to the offensive side of it, they actually are a very, very, very solid team, and they're on merit. That's definitely not fluke. So so credit to Villa at the moment.
Matt, you're just sitting there nodding.
Well, yeah, because I agree with everything everybody said, and I saw a comment as well where someone said about the fact that Unai Emery likes the word Villa because he's been to obviously Villarreal, Sevilla, and Aston Villa. Can he win something with another Villa? That'd be the third time. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? I'd have to literally just repeat what everybody else said because it was spot on. They've got a great team. McGinn's a brilliant player. I really do like the fact that they bought Tillemans. I know that we were looking at him as Man United as well, but apparently the wages that he was asking for at the time, a lot of clubs snubbed that. Aston Villa took that on and thought, well, you're going to be worth it in the end. I feel like you're going to work for the team. Emery saw something in him. So I think that's a really good signing. We talked about McGinn as well, and the fact that he's literally leading the team onto it, and he just feels... I'm not going to really compare him to the guy because he's one of my favourites, but a feeling of like that Roy Keane sort of presence, someone who will kick people up the arse if they're not keeping up with the standards. I think they need that sort of player in midfield. I think a lot attack it, and it's nice to see Aston Villa to be able to beat and got rid of Jack Grealish, and everybody thought that it was all over for them. They bring in Unai Emery, who literally gets pushed out by Arsenal because they didn't give him the time. But I feel like Unai Emery is one of those managers that does better with teams and a structure at football clubs that can't really give him the budget that every other manager like Pep Guardiola and Ancelotti, etc., expect. So I just feel like for him, it's a perfect fit. I think Arsenal, Man United, someone like that wouldn't really work for him. Like, you're hearing the links to Unai Emery to Man United recently.
So why don't you think he would? What, you don't think the fans would give him the time at United, or
I think
I'm
he's
not.
I just feel I don't think the board would give him time, and I think he needs to be at a club that would give him time, like Villarreal, like Sevilla. But he's got that with Aston Villa. He didn't have that with Arsenal.
How long's he been at Villa?
Well, it was his second season now, nearly.
Okay.
So, I mean, they're giving him a bit of time. Last season wasn't too bad. They got into Europe, and they've pushed on from there. So, whatever they've done, I know they got rid of Christian Perslow recently. He was on the board, and I don't know whether that's made a difference in the way that the club's running this season, but it seems to have worked.
Amondi, you want to go through some Villa chats in the comments here?
Yeah, most certainly. You guys have got a lot of knowledge on Aston Villa, and you're really impressed with them. Obviously, you're going back to Moss. He's talking about the Villa in Aston Villa, Sevilla, and Villarreal, 3 clubs he's managed. Eddie Football Waffle saying Villa have some good bravery too, not respecting big sides as much. So obviously, they beat Arsenal and Man City recently. Big results, big scalps. Matthew Bassett from Birmingham as well. You're from Birmingham, Matthew Bassett. He said, how is it Aston Villa have a better infrastructure and squad than Manchester United Football Club? Bart is saying here, Emery is the 3rd best manager in the league, was greatly misunderstood in this country and has done well at multiple big clubs like Sevilla and Villarreal. It's the Villa theme tonight, isn't it? Eddie Football for saying here, Matt is right. McGinn is a technical upgrade of McTominay. Mr. B's nodding. Yes, he is. Yeah.
Oh, yes. I'm trying not to bite. I'm trying not to bite, bruv. I'm trying not to bite.
There's no truth.
Again, Matthew Bassett is talking about 3.5 million for Kamara, Tillemans on a free, Diaby cheaper than Anthony, Carlos, who done brilliantly the other day. He was out for a season, wasn't he injured? He's come back and shown how he's definitely been in the gym. He's a rock, and he's done really well. And Torres in defence, cheaper than our defence, and much better than us as well. Matthew Bassett just highlighting again how they do good business. Richard Herbert saying here, lads, I'm dreading Sunday. Obviously, we can talk about it later, but we wants to park the bus at Anfield, and I hope it breaks down before it gets there. Definitely good to say here. United need to do a Villa and make Old Trafford a fortress in it again, and do it fast. Big up to Mike J. Lovely comments he's saying here, Steph. They got to show up first, referring to Man United as well. And is anything else about Villa? We'll come back to it, but yeah. Oh, sorry, one more here. Just to add, because obviously Matt Bassett lives in Birmingham. He says, I've got a lot of friends and colleagues who are villains and Blue Noses as well. Blue Noses would be the Birmingham fans, is that right?
Yeah.
Blue Noses.
Look, can I just do one more?
Yeah, sorry. Of course.
Because Billy Smith just chipped in as well. I haven't seen Billy. Billy, welcome to the channel. He's saying here, fun fact, United have double
Billy.
Scouts. Yeah, this is true. I heard this one the other day. United have double the scouts that City have, and have literally more than any other team in the league. And yet they have done awful business. Mr. B, please explain how that works. Matthew Bassett, Matty Football United TV, you put your finger up.
I know.
I'm it doesn't surprise me. United are good at spunking money, so they've probably got these guys sitting down, cocking up their batty hole, not doing nothing. That they have to recommend one name a month. Nothing to do. So, yeah, United is a gravy train. They need somebody to come in and start saying, you don't do nothing. What are you getting paid to do? You don't do nothing, leave. You, what are you doing? You don't do nothing, leave. They need to get in there and streamline. These men are living the good life. I mean, some of them scouts are probably the scouts that Ferguson had. I'm not being funny. Half of them probably can't even see now, but they're still there drawing money. So you know what? We're a mess. We're a mess, and we'll come on to us being a big mess in a bit. So look, we've had the poppadoms. Yeah, go on Monday.
Just on that topic, there's a saying that says there's too many chefs spoil the brew, and it's so true. I heard this stat the other day about how many scouts we have, and it's like, what, you're going to get all these reports and still not make a decision. Whereas, how many scouts you actually need? You can have one in each continent, maybe, or one. You've got to do the job correctly. It's not about the quantity; it's about the quality of the job you're doing, and that's another reason why Man United are failing right now. Sorry, Matty.
No, I want to go on to that. I think it's good to have a lot of scouts, but I think if the scouts have no one to report to and no one to take an interest in what the scouts are saying, then how are we going to be able to get these players in? Like, there's no one to tell anybody at our club to make a decision on the decisions that the scouts make. So you're literally passing it on to deaf ears, and it's like, we don't care. But there's no one right now to be able to help Ten Hag to identify the players to bring in when they're scouting them. So it's like, it just literally gets sent back. Oh, we found a player. And it's like, okay. But no one has the authority to be able to push that forward into making that a possibility. And that's what we're lacking, I think. That's what Brighton have. That's what Aston Villa have. They have. I mean, someone said a good point the other day about Liverpool. Actually, the fact that Salah wasn't actually on Jurgen Klopp's radar.
That was me.
And the footballing directors, etc., that came in and said, "Look, this guy works from the philosophy that you want to play him. What do you think about him? Do you reckon it'll work for you? Because we think it would." And he was like, "Yeah, go for it." And the rest is history.
Yeah, you're right. Because I think before the Salah acquisition, it was Klopp that wanted Brand.
Right.
And we were meant to actually be purchasing Brand, and you're correct there, Matt, as well. And obviously there was conversations, and then there was a lot more of the way in which Salah would have been able to blend into the way in which we played. There was conversations, and we purchased Salah when Brand remained where he was. So, and
the rest is history. You're happy with that, though, aren't you?
Yes, I'm a little bit happy with that.
We don't have that. There's no trust in between the teams, and you can't get that. You can't get that trust. You can't get that player. You can't get the right dynamic.
So you're going on Monday. You're going through some of these convos, some of these chats.
Yeah, it's really like we're talking about scouts, and Man United have got an abundance of scouts that aren't doing a good job. I mean, it's key performance indicators, isn't it? And what are you up to? They should be taken to the office and asked what you've been doing with your time, because it's really ridiculous. So Billy Smith is saying here is a Football Manager fan, and that's a fantastic game. And I mean, Football Manager, they're on the money with players, with everything. It seems to be like the real world, and sometimes you can lose your wife and kids and all the kind. I don't want to talk about it, but by playing that game too much, like me. Yeah, so I'm free of that. I'm teetotal now with Football Manager, but I do acknowledge they are on the money. I don't know how they do it, but you get drawn into their world and you become a manager, and it's so detailed as well. Yeah. They're always spot on. But he's saying here, anyone an FM fan, Football Manager fan, when I take over a club, I sack all the staff and start from the ground up with scouts and physios only that he wants. Would you say United would need something similar? So if Billy Smith is going to be our new manager, would you want him to wipe the whole staff out and start again?
It's quite hard. That's also an additional expense that possibly Manchester United wouldn't want, right? So we're thinking from when Sir Alex moved on, the amount of managers that have been in place at Manchester United, and we'll include some of them that have come in a caretaker role. So that would include Ryan Giggs, yeah. So if we're looking at the amount of managers that's been there, and if then all of those managers want to bring their own staff in, that would include scouts, different coaches. So that means goalkeeping coach, defensive coach, midfield coach, forward coach, and then all the physios. That's an alarming amount of money as well. So I'm not too sure how that would be. That could also involve in the doctors as well, because I think the last 6 months Manchester United haven't actually had a steady doctor at the club as well. That may then be behind one of the possible reasonings why a lot of injuries that the players at Manchester United have sustained have been muscle injuries. So it's just so multifaceted, and I think that it just equates to so much money, unfortunately.
Very well said. Agreed.
I hate when I don't really have nothing to say to you, to be fair, but okay. Samosas have been ordered, and poppadoms have been finished. Now on to the starter. Oh no, what's the starter?
Starter?
What comes? Yeah, start. Poppadoms are starters. What are poppadoms? Are they snacks?
Yeah,
sort of like Christmas. But,
yeah, kind of like.
So that's just a month before you order. Right. So we've done the poppadoms. So now we're on the samosas now. Okay. So now we're on the samosas.
I'm happy with that.
Top four. Obviously, Stoney. When Liverpool didn't have Europe, the year that they didn't have Europe, You lot really pushed well in the league. I'm not even sure if you won it that year, to be fair. I know Chelsea did it one of the years as well. We're out of Europe now, and I'm trying to look for a cloud, a silver lining in these clouds that you know we might have. Do you think there's a chance that one game a week? You look at Tottenham, one game a week, and how they've done. Obviously, Chelsea 1 game a week, and they've obviously gone the other way. But with good coaching and understanding what we're doing, do you think that Man United could push and qualify for top 4?
Is that question directed at me, Mr. B?
Well, it's directed at, because you've got to answer the question. I kind of know where it's going to go, but it was more from the Liverpool standpoint in regards to 1 game a week and being able to train the players.
Yeah, I think, in all honesty, I think trying to do a comparison, I think it's going to be quite damning. And the only reason why I say that, the squad's completely different. The way that your manager probably wishes for your players to play, and how Liverpool's manager asks us to play is completely different. I think the squad depth is completely different. I think tactically it's completely different, and also the injury list you still currently have is completely different. So I know a few seasons ago, Liverpool were ravished with injuries. Manchester United are currently ravished with injuries as well. However, I still believe that even if you weren't and you still had your full squad of players, I still believe Ten Hag would still be having the same teething problems. So at the moment, you've got, a combination of a few things. You've got a combination of players that are still, which in my belief are still part of your development squad. You've got senior players, and you've got players that are still trying to find their feet per se. All right. So even if you think of players like, who's a couple of your young players at the moment? You've got not necessarily anything. Is Reguilón still on loan with you?
Yeah.
Reguilón's still on loan. All right.
So even like a Tottenham player, doesn't he? I can't. It doesn't work for me. Like,
yeah, that's still a bit strange, isn't it? So even if you think of when you bought in, is his name Malacia?
Yeah,
Malacia. I know that he's still currently injured, but I would still look at him as part of the development team. And the only reason why I say that is he's come in. He is a very good professional, but I think he would have needed to have come in where you've got somebody playing in front of him, and then it takes time for him to come in with he's not too much pressure. I think he came in, he played, and unfortunately he sustained a very long injury. So I think it would be hard to kind of see where it stands with Malacia. Eriksen, still not too sure what Eriksen really offers you guys. Amrabat, he's on loan. Casemiro, he's currently injured, isn't he? So he's coming in as one of your senior players. Donny van de Beek, even though he's part of your squad, obviously we know he's moving on. And when I'm talking about your development team, you've got, is it Mano, the young boy in midfield? Manu?
We're pinning our hopes on him.
And that's the point that I'm trying to say is Manu and Hannibal, especially in midfield, in my opinion, they should be part of your development squad. I'm not saying they're not good enough to play for Manchester United, but should they be coming in where you're wholly dependent on Manu? The games that he's shown, I think he's a very gifted young player. But there's currently a lot of pressure on this young person at the moment to actually perform. And I don't think that's actually fair on him. And then if you're looking at your front line, you're looking at Garnacho, you're looking at, is it Pelestri, the Uruguayan? Yeah. And then you're obviously looking at Højlund. For me, once again, these three should, in my opinion, should be part of your development. Højlund's stats at Atalanta weren't great. It doesn't mean that he's not going to be a great player. But I don't think the pressure should be on him coming to Manchester United to say Rashford doesn't play up front. For whatever reason, Martial still hasn't performed. So then you're putting a lot of pressure then on this young player who has come for a very high fee to deliver. And he's not delivering. That's unfair on this young player. So going back to what you was originally saying, Mr. B, in terms of with Manchester United being out of Europe, do I think they could now push for the league or top 4? I still believe no. Because you're still going to have those same problems. Development players, injury players, and players that simply cannot play at the level of the expectation for Manchester United. And that is just my opinion.
I'm on that. Well, of course.
Bloody
It's
good
got a couple of
opinion.
jokes. I had to counter your brother. But he's so slick with it. He's just burying us without us really realising. He's burying us. What I didn't like, he's trying to be slick there, like acting like you don't know the name of our players. Oh, what's that guy? Mala. You don't know it's Malacy. Yeah, and you don't know it's Kobe Mainu. You know he's the most talented youngster out there. You know what? Considering we were at the start of the show, I'm having none of it. Okay, I'm just doing a pop-it-on pun. But and you talk about some good points there. The jokes aside, I think he's gone through our side. He's sort of talked about lone players in the first team, Reguilon, Amrabat, and you talk about the youngster. There's pressure on him as well. There's a lot of issues there, and we're not in the same position. And obviously, it's the hierarchy talk. They're top of the table, so he should be talking with confidence. And we're glad you're here talking like that about your club. Because when we look at your club, we could also say the same thing about your midfield hub, where you've got a lot of young players coming through. So I don't think there's any question if the quality is there and you're good enough. Gravenberch, Harvey Elliott, great goal the other day in your league game. You've got Curtis Jones, who I don't think is going to be the best, but he's in there. McAllister's quite young as well. These players, if they're young enough, they're good enough, and they can come in and do a job. We had a watching a Liverpool fan. We asked him about this, about losing all that experience and then having these young players come in and to fill the boots, and with oversized blazers because they can't not quite filling them in yet. I felt so. It's really interesting that you mentioned Mainu. I think Mainu, because it's a Man United channel, I will say this: we've looked at him really closely. We really, really do rate the guy. He's done nothing but impress when he's come on the pitch, and hopefully you'll get to see him firsthand at Anfield. I can't see any reason why he shouldn't start the game or play or be involved in the game as well. And I think it's great to see when you're going through a transition like this and having issues, it's great to have young players coming through. And that's where we get inspired from at Man United right now. You talked about Casemiro, you talked about Varane. We wouldn't be too bothered if any of these players left. If you came out with news reports tomorrow, Bruno's leaving, how many people will be like running up to Old Trafford and complaining?
Me.
A petition. Well, maybe apart from Mr. B. Not many. Do you see what I'm saying? So I think we've got to go with the youth now. We've got to start going with youth and take a little step back. And there's less pressure on them because we're already doing poorly already. And we know these things need to be fixed. So I do agree that with the players that we had, the young players coming through, the people that we have to sort of look forward to in the future, Pelestris, the Malacias, the Hannibals, all these young players coming through. These are the guys who can sort of take us forward in the long run, and the other guys who are letting us down right now, who would be really bothered if they left at the moment? Not many people. Don't you think, Matt?
I'm agreeing with both of you half and half on this. Quite good actually.
Oh, you sound like Solo. You got splinters on your ass, Matt. Come on now.
I'm on the fence, but it's like a really good, durable fence as well, and it's quite comfy. And I've got a little seat up there. It's fine. I am getting splinters, but it's taken a long time to imprint. But I like what you were both saying. I do agree with you in the fact that you're saying that you can't put all of that on the shoulders of Garnacho, Højlund, and Palestri, etc., because they are going to be the youth. And Maino, of course, he looks very impressive, like Monday was saying too. And I think we have to show our youth. That's our history. That's our philosophy of our club. We have to go that direction now. But I also agree that we can scout players to bring in as well, I think, to be able to help them through. Because if we only focus on the youth, then there is nobody above to sort of show the players underneath how to do it. I think Roy Keane was saying this as well. If you go into a dressing room and there's no one in there that's got some sort of authority or knows what it's like to be in situations. We're talking about Bruno Fernandes. I think that's why Mr. B was so uptight when Omondi said that he might leave, because he probably is the only one at the moment in that first team that understands our football club. I mean, and that's still quite shocking to me because
there's people who disagree.
Quite a new player. Go for it. Who Mr. B?
So there's people who hate Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah,
we do shows every week. I don't get it, but ever said everybody's got their reasoning. Everybody's got their reason for not liking a player or preferring a player. So it's just hard. I try to be kind of open-minded because I run a team, you try to understand maybe somebody adds maybe less ability, but more in regards of teamwork
Passion.
or passion. Yeah, you understand, or the fact that they can't pass, but nobody's not going to run past them in a certain place on the pitch. So you might
like
play
you
them
see
as
Martial kissing the badge after a goal after one game, and then the next game
he plays
not
like a
even
pussy.
wearing
Right.
it like he cares. It's like,
Thank
how
you.
could you kiss that last week and now you're wearing it as if it's like the most disgusting shirt in your life? And you
Because
don't want to be wearing
last
it
week was payday. Last week was payday.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. It was
right.
played
There
on
you
a
go.
Thursday. Right, there you go. But yeah, I don't know. The mentality, I think, at Man United, like I agree. Where are those individuals in the team that can kick those players up? Because you look at Garnacho, he's got no one above him really to look at and
To
go,
guide him.
Ronaldo, how did he get there? He had Roy Keane around him. I remember there was something actually the other day where Roy Keane, I think Ronaldo missed a silly chance and it went over the crossbar. He was a very young player and Roy Keane had a right go at him. And then Ronaldo went on to score like about 5-7 minutes later. And all the players like Ferdinand and etc. Silvestre were coming up to him and like giving him, like tapping him on the head and going like, "Come on, don't worry about it. Like this is Man United. He's going to do that to you. You like the reason why you scored is because he was having a go at you. Like you've got to be precise. Like you've got to really be precise for Man United. We do not have that at the moment. Bruno Fernandes, I agree with you, Mr. B. I think he's the only one that has that Midas touch."
But you say that about Bruno Fernandes, but we've been discussing on the channel for a long time now about leadership. And we were talking there, Matt was talking about leadership. If you're going to have these young players coming through, they need someone to look up to, a bit more experience. And that a good side, any great side over the last 100 years has got a mixture of youth and experience. And you need that to be led correctly. You never see...
Do you think... in the team, all right, Stoney, I'm going to put this to you on a Monday because I know obviously, Stoney, you've been a captain of a football team. Do you expect a captain to lead by example? Guys in the chat as well. Do you expect your captain to lead by example, as in what you do on the pitch or what you do off the pitch? What do you feel is the most important trait for a captain?
I think it's a combination of some players, some captains that I've seen and that I've been around, they're quiet. They're not very vocal on the pitch. They're not very vocal off the pitch, but they're probably one of the ones that are really good at understanding the dynamics of each player. So they may be the ones that have the quiet words with everybody. They may be the ones that really set the tone. So they may not be, outstanding on the pitch, but they're the ones bringing everybody together. They're the ones that are probably having that real conversation with the manager to know, well, look, this is the formation we're playing. This is the tone we're setting. This is how we're going to play. Some captains are amazing at actually being able to communicate with the ref to keep the ref on their side as well. So I think there's lots of different type ways of being a captain. I think when I was captain of, some of the teams under you, Mr. B, as well, I wanted to kind of trying to be a bit of both. I wasn't really vocal off the pitch. I left that to everybody else. But once you cross that line, I was leading by example. I was vocal. I knew what my manager asked of me. I knew that I'd always have a positive relationship with the opposition. And I would use the dark arts to always make sure that we were at an advantage. So, it's the same thing. If we've got more senior players, you make sure you're pulling rank. And if we've got younger players, it's about nurturing them as well and showing the level that you are meant to be playing at. So I said there's lots of different captains.
Monday?
Billy Smith saying here, I'd rather want a captain who gives his all every game and tells the players what to do and when, rather than hit a 40-yard volley and tell everyone step up and play like that, So, it's interesting that I think the whole thing about being in a team, you need teamwork. This is the really important thing. So, referring from my own experience, recently I've had a few issues which have been highlighted by Tabrice. Big up to Tabrice, to football. Go and subscribe to his channel. On Sundays when we're doing the team, I put out the nets, and I've asked the guys, "Can you help me put out the nets?" And there's a culture with the people at the club; they can't be bothered. They just come to play football. So rather than me wagging my finger like a parent and giving them fines and that kind of thing for not contributing, I just go and set the example by doing it myself. out in the cold. They're out there chatting, smoking, getting ready, you know, having a laugh, and they come out and the nets are done perfectly. And I've done them all by myself, you know. So and eventually you see who the leaders are on the team, because one or two people in the change room will start saying, why don't we go and help him out? It's a bit embarrassing, you know. So, and then you notice one or two, 3 or 4, 5, 6 players. Then you can identify who are the leaders in this team, who takes responsibility, who understands the meaning of team, you know. And I think you'll find that when you're under fire or when things aren't going well, you need characters like that to guide you and to lead you, because not everyone's going to be on the same page. So eventually, I'm getting to the point now where I'm going out there, and after a few minutes, I'm seeing people getting changed quickly and coming out to help. If I would have gone the other way of trying to be a leader by a parent and telling them, if you don't come out there, I'm going to fine you, or you won't start, or whatever, I don't know if I would have got the same results. So as a captain or a leader or a manager like you are, Mr. B, or a leader on the pitch like you are, Stoney, or, you know, a leader of your channel, Matthew, you have to decide how you go about things and how to lead correctly. You set a good example, or do you lay down a law? Do you become a disciplinarian? And we're seeing this in all factors, like with the manager right now. He's being a disciplinarian. I like it. Some people don't. You know, it has an effect on some players. Ronaldo leaves the club. Rashford's a bit peed off. Looks like Varane got peed off, you know, when they don't draw the line. But he's being a disciplinarian. He's saying, no, we need to change the culture here, and this is the way I'm going to go about it. Whereas you had Ollie in the past being their best friend, as Mr. B was saying, cutting their toenails and that kind of thing, you know, and that didn't work out in the long run. So it's a great discussion about captaincy, leadership, management, and how you get a bunch of millionaire footballers to get them on side. Just going back to one, I know I'm waffling on a bit, but there's one last point. When we were talking about Emre, he was at PSG, he was at Arsenal. And it didn't really work out for him in those clubs because. But it's working out for him in this smaller club that's Sevilla and Villarreal and now Villa, the 3 villas. And we accepted that because we said, oh, well, it's too big for him. I don't know if it's too big for him. I just think these players are not responding. There's nothing to do with him not being a good manager. I just think these players have bad character.
Yeah.
And to get that out of them, especially at Man United, to change that culture, you're going to see in the long run, in a few years' time, we might look back and say, Ten Hag was good because he started to change the culture. He tried to identify that, rather than we go on for another 10 years doing the same thing and letting the players be the leaders, and they're not responsible enough, you know. So leadership is a great topic, and I love talking about it. It's really interesting hearing from Stoney about how he leads on and off the pitch as well. And I think we need to look at that at Man United and see. We're starting to identify now who are the players. This is what I'm saying. Mainu and all these guys coming through, they need to come through, and you might say you need someone ahead of them to experience to give them guidance. But I think it's the manager, rather than we don't have that on the pitch. Bruno's not that sort of leader. I think it's the manager why I'm wanting to bring the young players through, because the manager is a disciplinarian and he's getting them early. You know, it's like with kids. If you want to nurture kids between the age of like 3 and 7, if you don't nurture them there, that's when their character is set. And I think with footballers, if you get them young and early and tell them, you know, this is what we want, they can become better footballers for the long term. Like the class of '92, Eric Harrison gave them away, gave them a formula, took them some time, and they ended up being at the club for a long time. Even Beckham, who was there for a number of years, left the club. You know, so these are the characteristics we want. And I think to get forward and be a better club with leadership and captaincy and management, that's what we need to do.
All right, Omondi, you want to go through some of these? I've tried to start. If we go from, let's have a look. Big T. If Bruno chased goal scoring record, that one. So everything below that one's I've starred. Yeah.
So Big T saying if Bruno chased the goal scoring record like he chases the referee, he would outscore Holland. We deserve better, saying when owners are looking the other way in the USA and the chief executives are bankers and managers get sacked willy-nilly, these players exploit the situation. Gerrard or Roy Keane basically giving examples of this sort of captains of the past. That's from Billy Smith. Harry David is saying here, at United you need both. Bart saying Potter is not the choice for United. He's certainly not upgrade on Ten Hag. I can't believe he's even been mooted for the job after his stint at Chelsea. Here we go with leadership. Captain, I would rather than a captain give all every game, rather hit a 40-yard volley, and tell everyone to step up and play like that. That's what started this discussion. Big T again is saying here, a captain should not allow the performances we witnessed this season. Keane would never. Again, Harry David saying here, can't have a captain who might get dropped. Captain needs to be one of the first names on the team sheet. All the characteristics coming through now. Keep them coming, guys. Bruno's issues that he's a bit emotional, but as a player, he does put a shift in most of the time, and he's always available. He never gets injured, does he? The best banana in a bad bunch stands out. That's my explanation of Gerrard. Rated, but overrated. We deserve better, saying here, when the club draws new players into the law of big money, being successful will always be second fiddle. Captain material, as a result, will be few and far between in players these days. I just want to touch on some. Richard Herbert saying here, I will get rid of some of them. Maguire, Donkey, Varane, injury prone. Van der Beek, injury prone. Lindelof is crap. Martial, not played well since Van Gaal left. That's 4 I would boot out by January. So, sorry, go, Matty.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bigger picture with the Varane thing. He's not injured right now. That's definitely a disrepute between the manager and Varane. There's no way that he's got an injury. He's definitely been dropped because he said something against Ten Hag and he's sticking to his guns, and that's why he's not there.
Klopp, regarding Klopp, Bart is a Liverpool fan. He says Klopp succeeded at Liverpool because he was allowed to wield the axe and he benefited from Michael Edwards' expertise and vision. Eric cannot do it all by himself. Billy Smith saying here, and have a sit down and chat with Rashford and say, look, you're a great player, but you need to sort your attitude out. As a club, we're not good enough, and you could be the face of the club if you focus. That's someone leading him. Bruno couldn't lead a 40-yard pass forward. Watch the match recaps. And finally here, talking about quality, Billy Smith saying here, I would love Xavi Alonso in the Premiership. He's an exciting manager, he's managing Leverkusen, doing really well at the moment, who gets backed and has the players he wants whilst also not selling them and giving them more contract extensions, which is working.
Is he saying for Man United or
just in general?
He's
well, Billy Smith's a Chelsea supporter, so maybe he wants him instead of Poch.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, maybe it wouldn't work for Man United, would it? That it'd be very difficult.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, it's a
Champions League winner for Liverpool.
I know, but if you're good enough, you're good enough. You know what I mean? But yeah,
he would lose Liverpool fans, wouldn't he?
Yeah, good point. If he won something with us, he'll gain a lot more fans because we probably got more fans than them. To be fair, look, history dictates that. Look, it's 1 and 2 in the league. It's main course time. They took their time with the starter. Lambriani time, brother. Liverpool, Man United at the weekend. Obviously, we're going into this game with a lot of trepidation, Stoney. We spoke on the show earlier, me and OMONDI, with Harrison. He used to come on. He was the posh guy who was on the show when Gems used to come on. So I'm sure you recognized him. Obviously, he was cool with it, to be fair. He wasn't as bad as I thought he was going to be, digging us out. But we have been trashed this season. Liverpool, you got rid of all of those players. I'll be honest, beginning of the season, I thought, yep, they're losing Henderson experience. They're losing this person. They're losing... But you've bought well and you've recruited well. So your transition period looks like it was just that summer gap where, you know, you sold the players and bought the players. They've all bought in. Can you see any way that United can do anything against your Liverpool on Saturday? My prediction was a 5-0. Now, I've said that in my heart of hearts, if it's 5-0, I'm done because I'm doing a live stream. I will never do a watch along again if it's 5. I swear to God. I'm not expecting a 5. So my thing is anything under 5, I'm not going to be happy with, but can't even say it's going to be acceptable. Stoney, we don't argue. We don't, you know, it's good. We don't have that, but we have conversations. But can you see us beating? Can you see us taking any points from Anfield?
This is to beat your football, all right? We can have the history book saying the last time Man United won at Liverpool was in 2016. We can go back to say that the last time Man United won during the league was 2016.
One matter.
When was that? Was that in the league?
Was it one
Sky
man who scored that bicycle?
Wasn't in the league. Wasn't in the league.
That was.
Was
no,
it?
no.
Yeah,
Wasn't
it
in
was
the league?
Juan Mata and Hernandez scored
Okay.
2-1 right away at Anfield, right?
Okay, no problem. So we could go back to looking at history to say last time Man United came to Liverpool, there was that big result and what have you. But something else, and I know I've mentioned it on the show that I'm part of as well, Cop Talk. Liverpool's performances, we're at the top of the league. Liverpool's performances haven't been as convincing as people think, I think we beat Fulham 4-3. If anybody was able to watch that game, that was not plain sailing. Our performance against Sheffield United, even though we won 2-0, was not plain sailing. We also beat Crystal Palace 2-1. That was not plain sailing. And obviously, even though we had already qualified for the Europa, we lost our last game as well. This is football. Anything can happen. Liverpool's squad, I believe, is much stronger than Manchester United. I believe in terms of players that we've got to pick for this fixture is stronger than Manchester United as well. And I still think that we've got more options than Man United going into this game as well. But this is football. Anything can happen. Am I convinced that Liverpool are going to beat Manchester United? The answer is yes. But as I said, I'm just going back to the original statement that I mentioned. Our last 4 performances have not been convincing. So anything can happen on Sunday.
On Monday.
Yeah, if you're talking about the matchup, obviously, you have to really take into consideration that we are struggling. If we had our strongest team out there, we'd be more confident. But obviously, with the injuries and issues that we've got, Sancho's not available. That's someone £70 million player, England international, is just not available all season. We're really hurting, and we are vulnerable going to Anfield at the end of this week, where it's been pure pressure, and the pressure's going to pile on even more if you don't get a result. And it's not expected. I mean, for Mr. B to be predicting we could lose 5-0, I mean, wow, what have we become? I just think, I'm with Stoney on this one. As I said on the previous show, Liverpool might be top of the table, but if the league doesn't lie, but it can be disguised in December. The league doesn't lie in May. After 36-8 games, you test your squad depth, test the injuries, the bad luck, the VAR decisions. Everyone has to experience that. That's why you cannot dispute the league champions. It's such a test. But to talk about being top in December, to me, it's soft, because there's not much points. There's 10. If you've got 10 points between us and Liverpool, whatever it is, I don't think that's enough. You can close that gap. It's not that much.
So are you saying we can close it this season? My issue on Monday is that the gap is 10 points so early.
No, I agree.
That's more what I'm worried about.
We talked about Villa earlier. We talked about the Newcastle, even all these quality sides. I'm saying that the league is top heavy. There's a lot of clubs around there who are not really 90-point per season form. Liverpool aren't on that 90-point season form, I don't believe. They've only lost 1 game, but they're winning games. They're getting through, and they're not, even though they're not playing so good. So
they're
I can think,
ugly.
Yeah, winning ugly. But I see a lot of positives. If we go there and be compact and tight, like Fulham and like Sheffield United, and cause them problems, as in invite them, say break us down, and then hit them on transitions or to look for a set piece play or something like that. That's what I think it's going to take, as we did. And the evidence for me is on Tuesday night we played Bayern Munich, knowing we had to win, and everyone felt go gun ho, we have to win. Why aren't we trying hard enough? But what we did, we were disciplined. We respected our opposition. We decided to stay in our shape. We stopped them from playing through us. As soon as they got the ball, there were 2 lines of 4 saying, "Well, if you're going to do your thing, do your thing." And it took them to the second half. They scored their goal, and then that was game over. But it showed that if we can get into that sort of mindset, because we've been so open recently, and be on it because we're playing a good club like Liverpool, like we did with Bayern Munich, turn up, follow the manager's instructions, don't make yourself too open, be compact, and look for opportunities. Be patient, look for opportunities. They will come because we are turning over the ball more than any other club in the Premier League, and we do create a lot of chances. So the most important thing is not to concede. The manager said in the press conference today, he said that because he was asked, he's under pressure, and the journalist said to him, "Well, what about the 7-0 embarrassment You know, look at where we're going. They're trying to push his buttons. He just said, look, up until the first half, we played pretty well. But in the second half, we really remember this game, the 7-0. We continued late in the first half by playing really well. We're in the game. And in the second half, they completely destroyed us. So it's about having it's simple mathematics, but it's about knowing that you can play well against Liverpool if you're disciplined. But once the floodgates opened, it really went bad.
And that's what you were just saying there on Monday. You can play discipline and still lose 7-0.
No, they didn't. But that's the thing. They didn't. They played disciplined up until the goal, and then the character when they lost their heads. So I just think if you can remain disciplined and take it a bit longer, get to 60, 70 minutes holding you off, then things could happen. The crowd would hush up a little bit and things could change. But it's a almighty challenge against your side there, Stoney. And I'm confident. I'm trying to be positive, show some positives here. Confident, not entirely on top form. Teams have put you to the sword a few times and challenged you. And hopefully we can give you a top challenge as well, make it a good game, and hopefully come away from it with a draw.
A draw? Okay. Yeah. Normally you go for that 1-0 win. I mean, the fact that you're going for a draw means that you really think we're going to lose, but you can't say that we're going to lose. I get it. Matt, you're sitting there with your eyes blinking. I know what that means, brother. Talk to me, man.
Well, look, I think Omondi's right, actually. The fact that, Liverpool played Luton not so long ago, and that was literally won in the last minutes as well. So it hasn't been like you've been turning over teams on the bottom and the top as well. But we've not been good against teams that are in the top. And I just feel like Liverpool, we're going to get sucker punched. And I think, I do agree that there's going to be a fair few goals for Liverpool. And I don't want that to be the case, but I think I agree with Omondi. I think at some point, once we let the first goal in, then the floodgates will open and our players will just drop tools. And I'm worried about that. I mean, if I was wearing the shirt, I wouldn't do that. That's what I'm saying. We do lack that. I really would love to see us do something here. And I think I agree with you, Monday, as well, that we had a lot of pressure against Bayern Munich. I think the pressure's kind of off right now. This is the biggest game in our calendar, isn't it? And if you can't play for the fans against Liverpool and we can't get a decent result, and decent result for Man United right now is losing 2-1 to Liverpool at home. Okay, that is because Monday, you were talking about it at the start of the stream, Mr. B, you remember, all right, we went up there and we thought we were going to have a bloody good field day, didn't we? Eh? And we got smashed. And you just never know. It could be the other way around. I bloody hope that Liverpool think they're going there, going to face United, and it's rosy, and they think they're going to get like a 5-0 win, and something happens. It'd be lovely to see that from the team, and I just hope some divine intervention in the dressing room this weekend has happened, and we get that, and then it maybe shakes up Liverpool's rest of the season. We get loads of Liverpool players on loan, especially the ones that I like, of course, because I think Liverpool got a terrific team. I think they've tweaked as well. I think Jurgen Klopp staying as well is a really good thing, because it's what Alex Ferguson had to go through, wasn't it? The fact
this is my point. I'm saying we can't sack him.
Yes, exactly. But you've got to have your board on with it as well. And Liverpool don't spend that much, and they are still competing every year for trophies, and they've done really well in the last 5-6 years since Klopp's been there. So I think, like I was saying at the start when I first started my monologue, that if you've got everybody working together from top to bottom, things will go well. But if you haven't, then it's disrepute all day long. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Liverpool. I think Man United will put in the performance. I don't think it will be as bad as it has been in the past, especially with no pressure on us at the moment. We haven't really.
Well, you want to go through some of these chats before we do our score predictions?
Yeah,
was I meant to say that? Sorry.
What's that? No, don't worry about that. They've all got to forget anyway.
DK Wilson in the States from Texas, welcome. Great, we're international. Got great people from US of A tuning in. Saying good evening to everyone, and big up to Stoney as well. And we got a scoreline here from We Deserve Better saying Man United will beat them 3-1 away. Wow. Billy Smith saying United has a much chance getting top 4 as Forest.
That's ridiculous.
Harry's saying Ten Hag in, but his record in the big away games is appalling, especially compared to Ollie as well. Remember when the whole season was unbeaten. Billy Smith saying, sorry, Monday, we haven't got a single player who can do anything in capital letters against Liverpool. Richard Herbert saying, just an update about Anthony Herbert. He's just massaging his missus' right foot now after just finishing the left. Keep up the good work, Anthony.
You got a big left foot then? Wow, that took a long time.
Billy Smith saying, Salah, Nunes, Gakpo, Diaz, McAllister, the Hungarian, all can wreck your back line in the blink of his eye. Okay. Harry Davis saying here, De Gea had a howl in that game, 8 shots and 7 conceded. But yet Bruno got most of the stick.
And then who have we got in goal now? Anana, the shrinking goalkeeper.
Oh no,
Lord.
What's his name?
We actually haven't had a draw this season. It's been either win or lose. Demob, sorry, is in the house. He said big up. He thought we were playing on Saturday. We're actually playing on Sundays, 4:30 kickoff. We deserve better, saying Liverpool beat us 7-0 at a time when we stopped playing after the Carabao Cup success last season. And big up DN Vlogs. He's saying, how's everyone doing? We're doing fine. Hope you're doing well, bro. Big up. Rajiji saying here, good evening, peeps. Long day. Not looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be 2-2, first draw of the season in the Prem. Liverpool get last-minute goal. Oh, so it's going to be 3-2 to Liverpool, maybe. Billy Smith, again, a great contributor today. He's saying, could all of you do a combined Man United Liverpool 11?
Liverpool's first team.
There you go. It's done. Rajiji again, an early goal is a must. And obviously not to concede. Harry David saying here, maybe an early goal from Rasmus would galvanise the team. Imagine that. So, yeah, so many optimistic comments here from Man United.
I'll just say, when he said it, they don't spend much. I mean, like, if you look at the players' wages at Liverpool, yes, they spend a lot on buying them in, but the wage cap that they've got at Liverpool is tremendous. They don't spend a lot of money out on their per week wages, which is impressive.
I'd even question that as well, you know, Matt, because as much as there was a comment, and I know why you've mentioned it, I think there was a comment in how much Liverpool have actually spent on players. If you look at that in comparison to the wages that, and we look at this holistically over the rest of the Premiership, it's in line with what everybody else is spending, really. So we haven't overspent on any players. I just believe it's still in line with everybody else, and I still believe that the fees that we spent on our players have given us good value. That's just my opinion.
Well, Everton got it deducted the points, you didn't, so it's clear as day, isn't it? There, there you go.
Better lawyers. Look, we have really run late, but you know we're not going without getting you lot score predictions. Guys in the chat, this is time for you lot to join in as well. On Monday, I'm going to start with you. Then we're going to go Anthony. So I got Anthony written down on paper. That's why. Sorry. So we go on Monday. Matt, Stoney, and me score predictions. Guys. Yeah, go on. You want to go through some of these?
Yeah, I hope for a 1-1 draw. I think if we can contain them, and that's the most important thing. Concentration levels have to be key. Contain Liverpool. Don't concede in the first half. Get them frustrated. Get into the second half. Have that team talk. Get your waters and oranges. Revitalize and go out again and concentrate. Because everything's against us, and we've got players out there. One who sort of might not play that often. It's an opportunity for them. They might be switched on. They might be concentrated. They might make it hard for Liverpool to break us down. That's the most important thing. After what happened last year with 7 goals, I'd be happy if it's a 0-0 or 1-1. And I'm going to go 1-1 because I think we can get a good result, come away with a result, which would be a draw from Anfield, which would be like a win for us. So I'm going 1-1.
Okay, well, that wasn't the game I was going to talk about, but okay, I'll write it down. Yours is 1-1 anyway. 1-1. The first game I'm actually going to start with is Bournemouth-Luton.
Oh.
No, that's all right. That's absolutely fine. I don't have a problem. So I'm going to start with you, Bournemouth-Luton. Then we're going to go Matt. Then we'll go Stoney. Guys in the chat, if you want to join in with the scores, you're more than welcome. We'll just flash them up on the screen. So on Monday, Bournemouth-Luton.
This is a situation where you would have thought it's a 6-pointer, relegation 6-pointer, but I'm thinking the 3 teams, Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United, are really struggling. Bournemouth have done really well this season. They're just outside the relegation zone. They're at home. They would expect to win this. I'm going to say Bournemouth to win. They've been playing really well lately, as we know. And I'm going to say I think Bournemouth will win this 2-0.
2-0. Matt?
I'm going to go close. I'm going to actually say a draw. I'm going to think Luton fancy this going away here. They've played them quite a lot, obviously, in previous years. So I'm going to go 2-2.
Stoney?
Oh, this is a 3-1 victory to Bournemouth. I'm looking at a Solanke brace, Billing to come back off from the bench to score, and Adebayo from Luton to score as well. 3-1 home victory to Bournemouth.
You better go bookies if that one comes in, boy. I've gone 2-1 Bournemouth. Chelsea, Sheffield United.
Chelsea, Sheffield United. Yeah.
Or is it Sheffield Wednesday? Yeah, Sheffield United. Yeah, Sheffield.
Look, we all know the issues Chelsea are having right now. I mean, look, Everton beat them the other day, and we're just even think it can't get much worse. It does. But I think with all the quality they've got and the manager they've got, I think it's going to come good at some point. Sheffield United, a team you expect them to be beaten. So I think it's going to be a positive day for Chelsea. I think they're going to come out 4-0 winners and make a statement against a side which are really, they've got Chris Wilder just come in. He's talking about the manager bounce back, because they've been on their face. I don't think it's good enough. They haven't got the players like Luton and Burnley. I don't think they've got good enough players to survive in this Premiership. They're going to get outclassed, especially at Stamford Bridge. I'm going to say 4-0 to Chelsea.
4-0. Matt?
I'm going to say 2-1 to Sheffield United.
Wow.
Chris Wilder won his first game. I don't know. I think there's a bit of a bounce back. There's a bit of blood in the breath of the Sheffield United players. They feel like they're hungry. They feel like they can do something. They really want to stay in the league. I can tell that there's going to be a resurgence. He knows the club quite well. I think he knows some of the players as well. Chelsea are absolute dog crap as well at the moment, by the way. And I know Billy's probably watching as well. So they are. I don't know what's going on at Chelsea. They just can't seem to get a result, even against Man United. And that tells you everything. So I'm going to say 2-1 to Sheffield United.
Wow.
Stoney.
I'm going for an away victory as well for Sheffield United. McAtee, Archer, and McBurney are scoring 3 goals against Chelsea. It's probably going to be Palmer's been scoring for Chelsea, and it's probably going to be Palmer and Sterling. But 3-2 victory for Sheffield United.
Wow.
I can't see past it.
Good
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I've actually gone completely opposite. I've gone 3-0 Chelsea.
Oh,
As bad as they were against us. Well, look, we'll see. We'll see what happens come next week, innit? Man City Palace on Monday.
When you're reading that, it's Man City at home to Palace, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're reading that right. Okay, yeah.
Big up Andy Warburton for joining as well, man. Cheers, brother.
Let's up Andy. What do you think, Andy, about this game? I'm going to go. I think you can't see anything but a home win. Palace having to travel up away. I don't think they're the best side who can go up to Man City and get a result. Villa only beat them at home, Villa Park. Man City at home are awesome. They've just played the Champions League, and just like Liverpool, they played a lot of young players as well. So they're going to be fresh. There's no excuse why Man City shouldn't win this game. And I'm going to say Roy Hodgson will set up well, be organised, but eventually that football is going to suffocate you, and they end up winning 3-0.
What are you thinking, Matt?
straight up 5-0 Man City, mate. No problem for them. They're going to kick on now. They're going to kick on and go on and win the league, unfortunately. It's Man City do this every bloody year. So 5-0 from me. They're going to smash it.
Stoney.
First of all, shout out to Billy.
I love you, Billy, bro. I had to say that because you're there, mate.
I tell you, right?
I'd have been nice to you, but you're there. I'm going to be horrible, you know.
You're not paying out there.
Let me tell you, right? I haven't done a joint watch along with obviously a rival fan, right? to have Billy on. I like Billy, and my heart, I bled for him. I was so happy that we won a game, and I was so happy that I could stick it to a Chelsea fan. live on stream. But to be honest, I don't have that confidence of doing that. I would love to say, Stoney, come, man. Come, let's do the stream together. But you know what? I'm just gonna want to punch him. In the end, I'll probably just cut it early. You know what I mean? And then we're done. You know what I mean? So yeah, but Billy, look, my heart goes out to you, but I'm so glad you lot are in this shit, man, because it just takes more of the pressure off us. Oh God. Sorry, Stoney, what was the score that you had there?
Crystal Palace, Man City. I'm going for 2-2.
Wow.
Going for
Okay,
going
well,
for 2-2.
Why you're not back in the City at home against Palace?
No, I don't even case of not actually back in City at home. I'm just thinking more about the way that actually Palace have been playing as well. And I know that you can't, not you, sorry, Monday. I'm speaking about myself when I say that. I know that we can't always compare when your own team plays against an opposition team. So I'm just really thinking about the way in which we managed to literally scrape that result against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace really played well. I think they were also quite unfortunate to actually receive that second yellow, which brought them down to the 10. And then obviously we pushed on to get the result. But just based on how Crystal Palace have actually been playing, I believe that they're going to get a draw against City. So I believe it's going to be 2-2.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Wow.
Also minus Haaland as well. That's another fact.
Roy's going to love you. He is. He's going to love you, mate.
Good old boy. Well, I went 3-1. Man City, Newcastle, Fulham on Monday.
Woo! Now Newcastle have been through it, haven't they? If you talk about burnout, they've gave it everything, huffed and puffed, playing Champions League football. They're dining at the big boy table again, and doing so well in the Premiership. And I think with the way they play their football and the energy, the passion, and the crowd behind them, you'd think they're going to need a big squad. And I think I felt so sorry for them. They had an opportunity in the last match day of the group stages to go through, and they were at home. They went 1-0 up. And
what do you mean you felt sorry for them on Monday?
Because I want English clubs to do well. I do want English clubs to do well. I want to, I want to see English clubs get competition.
What?
Against,
I don't understand.
I love seeing Clash of Stars, a European side against the English side. We've always loved that to see. Oh my God!
Not we, you.
Yeah,
I wanted them. I was so glad they were out because then we weren't the only ones. Because we weren't the only ones who were out.
He's like that Amondi. He is. I know. He's. I'm like you a little bit there, Amondi. I do like to see if Aston Villa go on and win the cup this year. I'm in Europe. I'm going to be happy. But
to be fair, I don't mind that West Ham. I was glad for West Ham.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, I hate David Moyes, but you know what? A part of me was glad for him. I was glad that he did what he did. You know what I mean? But maybe it's the Champions League. Maybe it's because it's the Champions League.
If Man City win it, you hate, right? I hate.
Right? Yeah. You know, Liverpool aren't in it, but they're in Europa. Yeah. Now, my thing is, I think Liverpool have got a chance of winning Europa.
Okay. Yeah.
And the fact that we were in it and didn't win it is going to burn me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And now we're not in anything. What can we win? We're not even in the Coca-Cola Cup. So what we got? We got the league that we can't win. And we've got the FA Cup first round against Wigan. You know, now if we're playing away from home to Ross, boy, I'm not even confident about nothing. You know what I mean? So
look, just another Chelsea, Mr. B.
Yeah, look, I've waffled. Sorry, Newcastle, Fulham. Sorry, did I get a score from you on Monday? Sorry, Newcastle, Fulham.
Yeah, what you talking about? I just think that they must be, after having the opportunity being 1-0 up and suddenly being opportunity to go second place and get through to knockout stages. The fans were so much behind them. And all the energy, and they thought, just get through this game. Don't worry about the weekend. Let's give everything. And they did give everything. And in the end, they lost 2-1. And you go from that high like that, and I think now the fatigue is going to kick in because after giving it your all and then being downhearted and knowing, that's it, you're out of Europe, it's a big thing. And I think Fulham, they're playing Fulham?
Yeah.
Fulham are a form team. They've been doing amazing. I mean, the amount of goals they've been scoring. Even Okocha's little nephew's been balling as well. And they've got Bassi at the back. And
William's great as well, Mondi. William, what's happened with William coming back?
Oh, wow. Do you see what I'm saying? This experience you. I like their USA fullback, Robinson. I think he's a great athlete. They've got the mask guy from Wolves, the Mexican, Zorro. scoring Jimenez. Yeah, I just think they've just clicked, and it's a nice little thing going on.
Has anyone heard anything about Mitrovic in the Saudi Arabian League? How well is he going?
He was injured. He's been injured. He plays for Neymar's team, doesn't he?
Right.
Yeah, he's been injured. But I just
Fulham
think
done better without, haven't they, Monday? Right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good acquisitions, good little side there, and the results are just outstanding at the moment. So I think it's going to be an interesting game. I still pick Newcastle to win because I don't think Fulham can travel that well to Newcastle, and I think it's going to be a tough game. I'm going to say 2-1 Newcastle with a late goal, and they need to push on now and get back into the top 4 contention as well. But I just wanted to say something in my summary about Fulham. I think they've been really, really good. And if you ever want to go to a Christmas party, that Christmas party will be banging right now because the atmosphere between the boys will be wicked.
Boy, they won't be knowing. Everybody be standing up vets at our Christmas party, boy. Boy, telling the DJ, don't play that tune, man. It's shit. Oh God, sorry, Matt. Sorry, man. What you got, brother?
We're going to have BB King tunes all night playing the blues.
Man United will have the best Christmas party in any club in the world, even though we're not winning anything. Trust me, it's one of those. It's that sort of club. Like they go and have the best party for doing nothing. I'm going to go with. It's a difficult one with Newcastle going out in the Champions League and the way that the fans have been recently. Going to Newcastle at the moment is going to be very difficult. So I'm going to give it a 3-0 to Newcastle against Fulham.
Wow. Okay.
I can't wait to say with all the factors here.
Not many. Yeah. As you said, look, it was hard. That game against Milan for Newcastle was quite hard for them. I thought it was a really good game. I watched it as well, so it's good. But as you said, Fulham, they're right. They're ready. They're scoring a lot of goals, and as you said, Wilson, Pereira, Iwobi, and Villian, they're assisting Jimenez. Whether he's going to get the same amount of goals that Mitrovic did when he was at Fulham will be interesting to see. I think Mitrovic is on 22 goals in 24 games out in Saudi at the moment.
Wow.
So he's still delivering.
Wow.
But as you said, Fulham are scoring goals. Whether Newcastle will bounce back from the game against Milan will be interesting to see. I see this game being a 2-2 draw. 2-2 in that one there, yeah.
The Geordie hater, can we ask Mr. B?
So I've actually got 2-2 as well written down here.
Yeah.
I'm not a Geordie hater. I just hate all teams in the Champions League when we go out. So, it could have been Burnley if they were in the Champions League. It's got nothing to do with the Geordies. I just, it is what it is. So I've gone 2-2 as well, to be fair. Anthony, I do see your message at the bottom there. So, go on, sorry. Big up, Mr. B. I just got home from a few beers. Now, the weird thing is we've had an update from your brother. Talking about your wife's feet. Now, I actually believe your brother, Anthony. And I know you haven't been out for a few beers. So, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it. She's your wife. But just acknowledge the truth. That's all. That's all I'm saying. We know. Don't be embarrassed. It's your wife. Look, Paul Scholes had his daughter cutting his toenails on Twitter. So don't be embarrassed. It took you slightly longer to do the foot, but you gave it the extra, it's no problem. It's no problem. Burnley Everton.
Woo.
Yeah.
All right, if one team's going to get out of the relegation zone, I think Burnley. I've watched them. They play good brand of football. Everton, wow, I hear they might be getting another deduction. I saw some headline over there. I didn't read the article in detail, but I heard something about Everton might get another deduction of points. Considering that, they would be in the top half without that 10-point deduction. But they're playing really well. This is what I'm saying. Respect to Sean Dyche, because he gets the team galvanized and playing not a good brand of football, but a winning, effective style of play and make yourself difficult to beat. And as an Everton fan, you would be delighted. He said, Anthony is the new Bruce Lee, the way he massages hands and feet. This is going to be a tough game. It's Burnley at home against Everton. I think Everton will get to the point where they're thinking, we're safe now, we've done enough, we've turned up the heat. And sometimes players, even though you're not going to say you switched off, you might switch off a little bit. And I think might give Burnley the opportunity to get the 3 points here. I'm going for Burnley for a home win, 3-1.
Matt?
But I think 1-0 win to Burnley. I don't think it's going to be as comfortable, but I do think they will get the win. Yeah. I mean, that's just a prediction. Anything can happen in football.
Yeah, we could beat Liverpool. Ooh. Stoney.
I see this being a 3-1 victory to Burnley. I think Pickford, Mykolenko, McNeil and Decore have had an amazing season so far. And I just can't see Burnley coming away with a victory against Everton. I can't. 3-1 victory to Everton.
No, that's mad. Look what I've got. I got 3-1 Everton. Oh, you can't even see. You can't even see.
Are you two twins or brothers?
You
seem to be on the same
team. Copy my homework.
Man, that's crazy. That's a couple I got the same as
they
you.
took
All
all these on Monday. They took the predictions like before their birth. It's all come.
yeah, exactly. What's going on here? They're in tune. They're definitely in tune. You should form a band. Quick question here for Stoney from Billy Smith. We've got time. So, Stoney, as a Liverpool fan, are you happy to see a rival like Everton get smacked up with the FFP breaches?
Rivalry away. My answer, nice and blunt. The answer is no. I'm not happy with them getting the point deduction. I think there's too many variables in football, not just in the Premier League, but globally. And some teams are getting away with discrepancies and other teams aren't. So just to answer your answer, Billy, the answer is no. I'm not happy with it.
That's a big question down there. Wow. That could take an hour.
Yeah, we won't touch
We'll save that for another day, Billy. That might have to be a WhatsApp chat, to be fair. Arsenal Brighton.
Well, considering Andy's an Arsenal fan, I'll just read out his comment. He says, I won't touch her feet. Her toenails are like pork scratchings. Nasty. So Arsenal Brighton.
Yeah.
Wow. So Brighton, well done. They've topped their group. It looked like it's quite a decent group. They had Ajax in there and a few other good teams. So well done to Brighton. And I think they've suffered as well with European football this season. The manager actually said that himself. The players have got to get used to it, and they need to sort of boister out their squad a little bit. But as you know, they can get back now to playing their football. And I think Arsenal being at home, being in a position where they're fighting for a title, they're going to come up against a team who's going to be stubborn. And Dr. Zebi, he's got that sort of attitude. I love his confidence where he wants to be noticed. And if he can get a result here against Arsenal, will make it hard for them. Because I remember last season they whooped them, I think, at the Emirates. Is that right? Was it at the Emirates they gave them some licks?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so I think Brighton aren't to be sort of played with. And I think Arteta will know that. I think what's happened with Arteta recent games, they're overplaying a little bit. So you're coming up against a side who are sort of being resilient and being compact against you. And they're sort of running out of ideas. And when there's no gaps or nothing to play with, I think they really struggle because they're not the sort of team to say, right, let's just like quick crosses in, or they want to walk the ball into the net or go. They don't want to be proactive with their playing, like saying, this ain't working, let me try something different. They're following instruction. And I think with the Premiership being such an elite league, you could eventually get to teams where they can say, all right, this is how you work out. This is the formula, 101 to how to play against Arsenal. I think we're getting to that stage now. So they need Arsenal, I think, need to come with something different because they're lacking a goal scorer. And in games like this against Brighton, who can match them with possession as well and can be cutthroat and play through them with that, they've got a brilliant style of playing from the back, and then they can just have get opportunities on goal quite easily. I think it's going to be a tough game. I'm going for 1-1, which would be good for Liverpool.
Matt?
I said it at the start, didn't I? I forgot what I said, and I want to keep it. I said 2-1. I said to Liverpool. That's just in my heart and what I think the reality.
But I understand that, but we are actually talking about the Arsenal Brighton game.
I'm going to go for Brighton.
Is that Highbury? I mean, is that
Yes.
Yeah, I really do think so. I think Brighton had a really good time in Europe this week as well. They're on a great up at the moment. They've had some bad results recently in the Premier League, and I think maybe being in Europe is like maybe they've found out how difficult it is to like weigh all the competitions that you're in. But I think they might be able to do something against Arsenal. Arsenal being like cool and comfortable, being able to be relaxed against PSV and then getting the 1-1. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Brighton, and the fact that Arsenal lost their last Premier League game, is that correct?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's time for Arsenal to dip back down again. So, yeah, I'm going to give it like a bloody 3-2 to Brighton. There you go.
Wow.
Stoney?
Yeah, I'm undecided whether it's going to be 2-1 or 3-1 to Brighton. I mean, when Brighton go to Emirates, they always come away with a result. So, you know, these are just facts. So my disdain to Arsenal, I think I'm more edging towards the 3-1 victory than the 2-1 victory for Brighton. So I'm going to go ahead with the 3-1 victory for Brighton.
Yes, good man.
And I've actually gone 4-2 Brighton.
Wow.
I think
you've gone strong.
They've topped their group. They're gonna be on a high.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna slap Arsenal. I think they're gonna shock them tomorrow. Yeah, I think they're gonna shock Arsenal tomorrow.
Wow.
I think they're gonna shock Arsenal tomorrow. We've got Brentford Villa.
Whew. See, in the Premiership, you got to say home advantage does mean something. And Villa on form. Obviously, got 15 games in a row, but it's at home as well. I have to say it's going to be a draw because Ollie Watkins is going back to his former club, and I think Brentford is a tough place to go. I think they've been a bit quiet this season, and I think it's about time they started turning it up and putting a stop to this Villa charge. So I'm going to say it's going to be. I think it's going to be a 2-1 win to Brentford.
Ooh, Matt.
I think 3-1 to Villa. They're on such a high at the moment. I mean, they're not very good away as well. I think with Omondi, I'm it could be one of those games where they haven't been performing that great away this season, if you look at the stats. But home, they're remarkable, of course. But if they can do what they've been doing recently and showing Man City and Arsenal that they can not compete for the title but be in the conversation, and if they want to be in that conversation after the new year, then I think they know they have to put the performance in this weekend, and it can't falter. And I know they made about 8 changes in Europe, didn't they, in the week? So that might be the reason why they've made 8 changes, to make sure that they've got a very strong team out. So, yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 to Villa.
Sony?
I'm going to go for a 2-1 Brentford. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Villa play with Douglas Luiz playing any suspension. I know Dendoncker had a good game when he came on Villa's last game, but I think Douglas Luiz has been so important for Villa in the middle of the park. And I think in that area, I think that Brentford are going to capitalise and be able to get a result from the middle of the park. So I'm going with a 2-1 victory to Brentford.
Can I just say that suddenly me and Stoney are on the same page?
It's only taken an hour and a half. I'm gonna go 3-1 Villa. I think their form is gonna continue. The fact that they rested players, I think is gonna do them well. West Ham Wolves.
Oh God!
It's really tough to score. You know what? The Premiership's been so good this year that it's really hard to predict games. This is like a lucky dip, really. I mean, a lottery, just trying to predict who's going to win. West Ham at home. I with these games like this, I have to go for the home side, or a draw. So I'm just thinking West Ham. Obviously, they qualified. Well done again in Europe. They've done really well. They've got players now. They've made good additions into their midfield. They got Kudos. Is it Kudos from Ajax?
Yeah, from Ajax.
And the Mexican Alvarez, and they've got James Ward-Prowse. Great additions for the money they got for Rice. These 3 players bring experience. Apparently, I haven't seen Mikel Antonio for a long time. He must be injured or something. He's doing podcasts like us, but I don't see him on the pitch. And I think they've got who's the left-footed guy from Hull who plays up front?
Bowen.
Bowen, yeah. So they're talking about him playing up front. I think it's going to be a draw based on the fact that they've had Europe, and Wolves playing away from home would be happy with a draw. So I'm going to go again a 1-1 draw.
Matt?
Yeah, I'd go for a draw actually. Is it Gary O'Neill at Wolves at the moment?
Yeah,
he's not been doing too badly. So comparing Wolves to last season, I definitely think this is the sort of team that they can at least get a point from. So I'm going to go over draw, maybe 1-1.
Stoney?
1-0 to the Irons.
And I've gone 3-2. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I've gone 3-2 to West Ham. Finally, Liverpool, Man United.
1-1 draw. And I know my reasons also over to you, mate.
17-0 to Man United. In my dreams, yeah. 2-1 to Liverpool. There you go. I'm just going with my heart, and well, that's not my heart, that's my mind, isn't it? Sorry, my mind is 2-1. Yeah.
Stoney.
Now I'm thinking, before I give this my result, Mr. B, I'm thinking of the players that are going to be available for Man United, right? So I'm thinking Onana in goal. I'm thinking Johnny Evans, Luke Shaw, probably the centre back pairing. I'm probably thinking about either Reguilon, Wan-Bissaka, or Dalot still playing. I'm thinking your midfield with Amrabat, McTominay, and Kobe. And I'm thinking your forward line of Anthony, Garnacho, and Højlund, or Højlund, whatever his name is, right? Wow, that is such a sorry squad. So do I believe?
You wanted your score predictions, not what you thought of the team.
Thank you.
Do I believe that Manchester United are going to come away with anything? No. I'm looking for a 4-0 victory to Liverpool, convincingly, by the way. 4-0.
Right, and I've actually gone 5-0. I've actually gone 5-0. I'm not going to change it.
Wow.
I'm convinced we're going to get absolutely pumped on Sunday. I do. I just do.
No,
so look, go on.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, I agree. No.
See, on Monday's the only one in the whole of the chat, the whole of the agenda, the agenda people watching, who think that we're going to get a draw.
Well, that's the answer I want, Mr. B. I want OMONDI's answer. I want that to be the truth, the right.
I would love it, but I just don't see it. But look, we'll see. We will see what happens come Sunday. Obviously, look, I'm gonna be punishing myself with the watch along, and we will have a reaction show soon afterwards. So yeah, hopefully my swearing will have come down, whether it's happy swearing, which I doubt very much, or vex swearing, which is more likely to be for Sunday. But look, on Monday, I've kept you lot up until this time. Good grief. Big up, brother. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed seeing Stoney back on. Guys, don't forget to check out Cop TV, Cop Talks TV, every Thursday night at 10 p.m. The boys really go in. We've got a great bunch of lads there, including Stoney. If you want to hear more from Stoney, from Alvin, from Tabrice, from Pedri, or whoever, they're all great guys. Tune in. That's my staple for my Thursday night, 10 p.m. Cop Talks TV. Fantastic. And obviously, down below me, I always endorse this channel. Got the best intro, got the best host, got the best international football, covering all kinds of leagues, Brazilian as well. And big up thanks to Marley. And have a lovely trip. I know you're going to Brazil in the next couple of weeks, Matt. You are a jet setter. I don't know if you've got any room left in your passport to stamp, because you're always traveling. I love the way you live your life. But go and have a great time in Brazil. Be safe, and hopefully we'll see you back in the new year. But thank you, Mr. B. We'll be back on Sunday night.
Definitely. Stoney.
No, listen, thanks once again, Mr. B, for inviting me onto the Man United agenda. I think it's been brilliant. Obviously, continuing to hear your content, Monday's content, and obviously Matt's as well. As I said, it's been amazing coming on, and you guys just continue doing what you do. We continue to support you guys from Cop Talk, and we just look forward to communicating after Sunday's fixture.
Why, yeah. Yeah, but my cave might not have Wi-Fi, man. I know there's one deep hole that they've been digging, boy. I might have to throw myself down there away from the 5G network. You get me? I might have to go. What's the word? What's before digital? What's the phone
Analog.
that you? That's the one. I might have to go analog for a few weeks, boy. Start writing letters, yeah, boy, and sending my messages by carrier pigeon. But look, guys. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. Guys, if you are still in the chat, I know it's been a long one. I know some of you have been here from start to finish. So big up, man. Look, enjoy your weekend. We will be back on Sunday, 15 minutes before the murderization of the watch along. It's been me, Mr. B. It's been Yaba Forbes, Yaba Juma, it's been a Monday, man. It's been Matt and it's been Stoney. Guys, thanks for watching. See you on Sunday.